You're watching the NJSIAA on News 12 Varsity as we welcome you to this game time presentation of the 2017 New Jersey High School Football Playoffs. Unfamiliar foes with dissimilar football histories battle on New Jersey's grandest stage for a North 2 Group 3 crown here in East Rutherford. A look at MetLife Stadium as the 3-seed Voorhees gets set to take on the top seed West Essex, an 8-time section champ. Hello, everyone. Welcome with Todrick Hunt. I'm David Resnick. Both these teams are 2-0 against common opponents, which should shape up to a close game today.
Certainly should. Two very good teams, both well coached, both excited to be back here in the championship game for West Essex. It's been since 2011 since they've been here and had an opportunity to take the crown. And for Voorhees, 1995. So they're certainly itching to get a state title under their belts as well.
Prior to Bob Engstedt taking over for Voorhees, the Vikings had 8 straight losing seasons. Now the Vikings are 1 win away from their first sectional title in more than 2 decades. As for West Essex, Chris Benequista has continued a long tradition of excellence. A 1993 grad, Benequista spent 10 years as an assistant before winning a section title in his first year as a head coach in 2011. The game plan for West Essex try to slow down the best player on the other side, and that has been identified as George Eberle.
It certainly has. Eberle does it all for this football team, whether it be passing the football, running the football. He's got almost 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns through the air, 7 touchdowns on the ground, almost 500 yards. He's also the team's kicker. He's 9 for 9 on field goals throughout the year, and he's 32 of 34 on extra points, so he should have a big game today if they plan on winning this game. Colin Tong, a sensational player on both sides of the ball. Not only is he the team's running back, but also linebacker, has over 100 tackles, flies around, makes a ton of plays. For West Essex, Phil Lutz, he brings the big play element to the offense. It's a wing T, grind them up type of offense, but here and there you'll need those big plays to open up the defense, and that's certainly what he brings. And Carmen Kakuza, he's a road grader. He's physical on the defensive line, only 5'11", 200 pounds, comes into the game with 15 sacks, and he'll be looking to get after it.
Perhaps the biggest question mark entering today's contest, who would start at quarterback for West Essex? For more on that, here's the third member of our broadcast team, Amanda Puglisi.
Well, David, you mentioned that for West Essex, who is going to be starting the quarterback? Well, it is number 12, Lemansky. Now, he wasn't sure if he was going to start in this game. He was just cleared on Monday. He injured his left hip about 5 weeks ago, and he went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you are cleared and ready to go. And when I spoke to him, he said he is so excited. It's the big stage, and he wouldn't miss this game for the world.
A big impact for the Knights to have their junior quarterback, as Amanda said, 5 weeks to the day in which he injured his hip. Last week, Coach Chris Benequista got a text from Zach's mom and said, hey, we're going to the doctor on Monday. I think we have a chance. He got cleared, worked out this week in uniform and warmed up, and the Knights will have their top quarterback ready to go for this North 2 Group 3 championship.
And that's good stuff, because it's important to have that continuity at the quarterback position, even when you run a wing T offense. Again, this wing T offense has some explosive elements to it. They do pass the football, get the football down the field at times. So certainly a good thing for them to have their starter in, the guy that helped to get you to this point, and now he gets an opportunity to get you over the hump.
We'll have more time to speak about the West Essex offense in just a bit. Voorhees won the toss, elected to receive. They want the ball to their offense as Colin Tong and John Roncarini are back to receive this kick from Patrick Delahanty. The first of 4 games from MetLife, part of 12 games of coverage across News 12 Varsity.
Easily the best venue for high school football finals throughout the state. These guys get the opportunity to step out on the field that the Jets and the Giants play on and give their blood, sweat, and tears as well. So certainly a great experience for these young men.
Ball is teed up, and Patrick Delahanty kicks off this sectional championship game. Taken at the 3, Colin Tong. Runs laterally and pushed out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Luke Garcia with the special teams tackle for the Knights as the Vikings take over 1st and 10.
Great opportunity to see what this offense has to bring today against a tough West Essex defense with 2 really good defensive ends who will be looking to set that edge as well as get after the passer, disrupt the offense, and ultimately make some plays for this team to be able to win this game.
George Eberle, the 2-year starting quarterback for Voorhees, making his 20th start, calls for the shotgun snap. On 1st and 10, a play fake and a shot down the field. It is incomplete, looking for Will Rodenberger.
And I love the way they open up this game by taking a shot down the field. They actually utilize play action, which is something that you normally set up by running the football. But they came out and said, you know what, these guys expect us to run this football on 1st down. Let's fake the run and let's throw the pass over the top. And it was there, just overthrew the receiver.
Vikings have had 2 weeks to think about that opening play. Todrick, think about what they did. They asked for the ball and they take a shot on 1st down. 2nd and 10. Another play fake as Eberle looks to throw along the sidelines. It's caught with a foot in bounds. What an effort for Jack Mccain.
I think I might have to call him Toe Tap Jack. Really nice job getting that 1 foot down, dragging it on the field to complete that pass. Does a nice job getting his eyes back around to the quarterback who's rolling out to his right-hand side. Just look at that. Great concentration and body control to finish that play.
Left foot pinned down, inbounds, good for the 1st down. And a toss out to Colin Tong, the feature back for Voorhees, getting hit at the line on his 133rd carry of the season.
On that play, West Essex does a really nice job setting that edge, forcing the running back to cut that ball up inside where there's help. And there was a ton of guys who rallied to the football and made a play. So good start for this West Essex defense. Almost got beat on that first play, and it was there. But now they seem to be settling in against the run and looking to play fast and hard.
Carmen Kakuza makes the stop for no gain. 4 wide receivers for the Vikings. And a flag is down.
Dead ball. False start. 5 yards. Repeat 2nd down.
2nd and 10 for the Vikings after the penalty marker. 2nd and 15 rather after the 5-yard penalty. 6th year for Bob Engstad. 12 years an assistant prior to taking over in 2012. And what a job he's done to turn around this program. Their first 7-win regular season in nearly 15 years. 2nd and 15, it's kept on the ground. Jack McCabe comes on the jet sweep and picks up 2.
Picks up 2, and this West Essex defense showing they can really scrape over the top. Chase down plays from behind and set the edge as well. Just nowhere to go for the running back. Absolutely corralled by black jerseys, looking to get him on the ground.
Phil Lutz and company, part of the tackle. Eamon Morrissey, a look at number 76. A captain at defensive end. 3rd and 13. Eberle play fake. Looks to the flat. Ron Peroni has it, but he is immediately met and brought down. A play in open space for Dorian Gashi.
It's unfortunate because it looked like the play was set up nicely. They had that left side of the field wide open on some sort of a screen, maybe a bubble screen type of deal. Unfortunately, just couldn't connect with the reception. Similar results as the play action play to start off the game. So a couple misses early on here for Voorhees.
George Eberle boots a punt, averaging nearly 48 yards a kick. And it's down at the 35-yard line as Athen Magalio races down the field. West Essex takes over for the first time with 9:34 to go in the opening quarter.
Now we get to see that old school wing tee, an effective offense. A lot of teams have moved away from that, have moved towards the spread, but this is certainly effective. You can win with, at times, lesser talent. When you do have really talented guys, I mean, it's a system that really, really works. A lot of down blocks, a lot of physicality up front, and guys who can run the football and fall forward.
First start for Zack Lemansky since week 8. On first down, Anthony Sangillo is met at the line.
Here you have Voorhees that gets Sangillo going east and west as opposed to north and south. And when you got a back like that, you got to be able to trip him up in the backfield before he gets going, before he gets that full head of steam. And you frustrate him, disrupt that offense.
It was a 4 to 6 week injury. Lemansky cleared after 4 weeks, playing 5 weeks after. Will Perez gets the call, maybe one, as he dipped his shoulder fighting for every inch. Scott Fernandez there defensively for Voorhees.
Both teams so far to start this game doing a nice job setting the edge, not allowing explosive plays to start the game. The defenses are really locked in and ready to compete.
Voorhees believes that it's going up against the most physical offensive line that they have seen throughout the season. Toughest opponent on both sides of the ball. That's what their coaching staff has said. 3rd and 9, passing situation for Lemansky. He throws it near side, perfectly lofted and connected down the sideline. Touchdown, West Essex. Will Perez scores it for the Knights.
And a 64-yard score through the air, and that's exactly why you want your quarterback here for this big game in this championship atmosphere, to throw those passes, to make those big plays he's made at points in time throughout the year to get you here.
Perfectly thrown ball for Lemansky, and that is the element that he brings back to this offense for West Essex.
And that's exactly what they've done throughout the year. They lull you to sleep running the football, then beat you over the top with the big play, normally to Lutz. They got multiple receivers that can go out and do a couple things, but he's certainly their go-to guy on that outside.
Delahanty left-footed and through the uprights. A 7-0 start for West Essex.
And just a really nice job here. Both teams came out attacking, throwing the football down the field early on in this ball game. But West Essex does a nice job capitalizing on that opportunity, getting the ball to a receiver downfield. Happens to be Perez, actually. He does a nice job tracking that football. You see him with his eyes back, tracking it, kind of slowed up a little bit, then sped up, got up underneath the football, locked it in, looked it into his hands, and by that time he had a good 6-7 yards worth of separation to just go ahead and run it into the end zone for a score. Just a really nice play to a guy you may not have been expecting to make that play to open the game. Just a really nice job with the preparation and putting the pieces in place to go out there and give yourself a good start.
So after 2 runs that combined for just a single yard, West Essex connects for a 64-yard touchdown to Will Perez. After this kick, Amanda is standing by with more on the junior that broke the seal on the scoring in this North 2 Group 3 championship. Patrick Delahanty to kick for the Knights. Colin Tong stopped at the 23. Here's Amanda.
Well, David, Coach Benaquista talks about Will Perez and his great speed. He remembers watching him when he was younger, making plays as a kid, and even then he knew he was special. But this coaching staff wasn't sure if he was going to stay at West Essex because his older brother plays at Seton Hall Prep now. As you can imagine, they are so happy that number 27 decided to stay.
Thanks very much, Amanda. Will Perez, part of the skill position crew for Chris Benaquista, as West Essex takes the 7-0 lead. What kind of answer does Voorhees have 1st and 10. Colin Tong hit behind the line.
A little read option for Voorhees, going to one of their primetime players in Tong, who's been bottled up here early on within his first few carries. Got to find a way to open up this defense a little bit and hit on those 1st and 2nd downs so you can stay on schedule and you don't necessarily put yourself behind that 8 ball on those 3rd and long situations in which you're not necessarily equipped to complete against this West Essex defense.
Will Perez, more than just his offense, making a tackle there defensively from his strong safety spot. Burley bottled up and ripped down. Nowhere to go. Luke DiGnazio makes the sack.
And DiGnazio does a nice job staying with it. He latched on to Burley. Couldn't quite get him down to the ground, but fought through it, kept driving his feet, latched on, and just held on for the ride. Finally got him down on the ground for a huge play on this 2nd defensive drive for West Essex, who's firing on all cylinders.
Luke DiGnazio started 3 straight weeks at quarterback, getting West Essex to this championship game. Now he could focus on his linebacker duties, in which he does quite well. Line to gain is the 33. Burley with plenty of time. Takes a shot over the middle, and it's broken up. Will Perez knocks it away from Will Rodenberger, and the Vikings have to punt.
Will Perez having himself a game. A guy who came into today with 155 receiving yards, so not a big-time receiver that you'd expect to open the game with a huge touchdown. Here defensively does a nice job getting a hand on that football. Great timing, so he doesn't interfere with the passer. But it's a 50-50 ball. He has just as much right to go after the football as the receiver.
Phil Lutz, dangerous in the return game, and he lost his footing, sliding down at the 45. He had a game-changing kickoff return for a touchdown in the semifinals, and Lutz will be somebody to watch in the receiving game for West Essex as they take over with great field position at the 45.
And Lutz is normally their big play guy in the passing game, and they actually came out in disguise that utilized Perez and his speed, a guy who's normally a running back for the ball club, over 800 yards on the ground, to go out there and run that go route that opened up things offensively for this team.
On 1st and 10, keeping it on the ground, and there is room for Vincent Scalia. 13 yards down to the 32, and a 1st down for West Essex.
Scalia is actually this team's #2 receiver, even though he's the running back. He's got 12 receptions for about 200 some odd yards. So he's a guy that they can get involved in the passing game as well. Got a nice lead block there, read his blocker, came off his left hip, found something outside, got as much as he could to finish off that run.
At the 32, Sangillo right to the line. The fullback has carried the rock more than any other night out of the backfield. Making the tackle there, Sam Huff.
Huff actually initially looked like he was getting blown off the football, but was able to anchor down. They ran the ball right into his radius, and he was able to latch onto the ball carrier and get him down.
Chris Benaquista calling this offense a multiple wing T. We've seen them on running situations go traditional and then look to throw out of different formations. This is Perez on the ground running off tackle right. And making another tackle from his linebacker spot, Jack McCabe and Kyle Enchill.
Really nice run fit for Jack McCabe. 96 tackles, 4 picks on the year, an active defensive player. You know, a really cerebral player out there on the field. You see how he's watching the offense, looking for keys, looking for anything that he can utilize to be able to go out there and make a play on the next down.
McCabe, a 3-year starter at free safety, 15 tackles and a couple of picks in the semifinals. Wow. 3rd down, nowhere to run. Defensive play by Luke Martorana, along with Kyle Enchill, making the tackle on 3rd down.
And Enchill looked like he was absolutely shot out of a cannon the way he shot that gap and found the football and brought the ball carrier to the ground. Look at this explosion. Does a nice job locating, wraps him, and gets him down to the ground. Really high impact play.
Scalia couldn't get out of the grasp of the linebacker. Offense on the field, 4th and 7. Lemansky setting up a screen to the middle of the field. It's caught, but the receiver is short of the sticks. Phil Dalbo was knocked off balance and brought down at the 25-yard line.
And they were just a hair off on that screen play from it going for 6. Just a hair. Voorhees did just a good enough job of peeling back, identifying that screen and getting to the ball carrier and getting just enough of his jersey to get him down.
So after a touchdown on the opening drive, West Essex turns it over on downs. And taking over at the 25-yard line with 3:41 to go in the first quarter is Voorhees. Colin Tong gets the call.
West Essex also showing multiple defensive looks. Started the game out in the 3-4. Now they've moved to the 4-3 to move guys around, get different matchups defensively against those slot receivers when they spread them out. Now they've got 4 defensive guys along the line of scrimmage looking to get after it on this play.
Jonathan Davis shifts from right tackle to the left side of the line. John Roncaroni out of the backfield gets denied. Will Perez.
And another great run fit for a player that's having himself a heck of a game to start out here today. I mean, both sides of the ball, the big touchdown to open up the game, then the huge deflection down the field on the seam route, and now he steps up with a terrific run fit. Finds the football and gets the finish. So a really nice job for that young man to get his team going.
3rd and 7, play fake. Eberle stepping up into the pocket. Eberle keeps the play alive, tossing it down the field, and it's picked off. Joseph Dalbo running the other way for West Essex. He's got the pick and a takeaway for the Knights.
Just another great defensive play by West Essex, which is certainly gained. Eberle just having a tough time to start. A lot of it has to do with protection, falling apart. He's been facing a lot of pressure. This time does a nice job stepping up in the pocket, found a receiver on the go route on the left side of the field. Just didn't put enough on this football, underthrows it. They had safety help over the top, but the corner's able to stay with it with his eyes back to the ball, competes for it, gets it. West Essex ball.
The goal for the Knights defense was to force Voorhees to throw. They've defended the deep ball well. And on first down, Will Perez picks up 5 for the top seed.
Looked like a little counter play they ran into the inside there.
Phil Dalbo came up with the interception, now joins the huddle on offense. One of 4 different receivers with a touchdown for West Essex, as Zack Lemansky could really spread it around to a number of different targets.
A lot of two-way players on this West Essex roster. Only 10 seniors, low numbers, but these guys still compete and win games.
On second down, another run. This for Anthony Sangillo. And quickly it's third down with 1:20 to go in the first quarter. This is about the field position in a similar situation where Lemansky took a shot. That was their lone third down conversion that went for that 64-yard Perez touchdown. Lemansky again going deep. Over the shoulder attempt. Looking for Phil Lutz. It's incomplete. John Roncaroni in coverage.
And another perfectly thrown football. Lutz didn't quite track it the way he should have. That ball was placed in the spot in the field in which only he had an opportunity to grab it. Sort of slowed up a little bit when tracking that football. Had a good opportunity to run underneath that ball and get in the end zone, just like Perez to start this game. And I'll tell you, Kaminsky is throwing absolute strikes, and it's certainly a good thing for that team that he's able to play today.
Tyler Logan on to punt. It's a fake to the up man, and a first down and more. West Essex special teams trickery, and the first down. Dorian Gashi, the protector, runs for the first down.
And those plays are just so demoralizing for your defense when they fought so hard to be able to get off the field. You saw it last night in the Bergen Catholic game against St. Peter's Prep. They were up pretty big in that game, but still pulled out the fake punt and were able to demoralize that defense and essentially end that football game. And you're seeing the same thing here. Defense fought tooth and nail. Now they have to stay on that field and continue to compete.
From the 28, drive continues. Stretch run by Scalia. 15 seconds to go, first quarter. Scalia, part of the three-headed monster out of the backfield. Chris Benaquista analyzes the situation, and I think he decides, let's take this lead into the second quarter. A big strike for West Essex in the first quarter. 64 yards. Lemansky to Perez, the only scoring in the opening frame. The Knights looking for their first title since 2011 and 8th in school history, has the early lead here at MetLife. $7-0 West Essex over Voorhees in the North 2 Group 3 Championship with Todrick Hunt. I'm David Resnick. Amanda Puglisi roaming the sidelines as we welcome you back to MetLife Stadium. First of 4 games here from East Rutherford. Good size hole for Will Perez inside the 10, and a first down for West Essex.
Little jet sweep type deal off of right tackle. They're able to effectively move the football, get some nice blocks up front, winning the battle at the point of attack. Look at these guys. Look at those defenders being covered until that running back breaks loose through the hole. Just a nice job by that offensive line, getting into defenders and winning that battle up front.
Vincent Scalia, whole left side. Flag is down as he darts into the end zone.
Got a feeling they may call that hold on Lutz on the left side of the field. From this angle, it looked like a good block, but the defender obviously was not getting off of that block.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat first one.
Was actually just about to commend Lutz for a good block down the field, because that's how you open up big runs, by your receivers getting down the field, locking up DBs, getting in their pads, elbow and tights, looking to finish. And you don't always have to finish, but sometimes just control the defender to the point where the ball carrier can read the block and advance beyond the block. You saw that there. Good physical job by West Essex, just got caught for the penalty.
3 wide receiver set on 1st and goal from the 18. The toss to Anthony Sangillo. He gets pushed back. Sam Huff, starter at defensive tackle. The lone junior on the starting defensive line. He's going to see Sangillo quite a bit, the fullback. They've met up in the hole a couple of times.
Made a couple plays here today. They're going to need him to have a good game, to keep that running game honest, to shut down that stuff inside, forcing them where they want them to go.
Lemansky, play fake. Wrapped up and thrown down. Ran out of time. Scott Fernandez got there to bring him down.
Nice little defensive drive, going for that defensive line of Voorhees. These guys are getting involved and really getting fed up with what's going on offensively with West Essex, which has pretty much had their way. A lot of misdirection, multiple things going on, but this time they do a nice job disengaging off contact, finding the quarterback and getting him on the ground before he has the chance to make a play.
3rd and goal from the 25. Lemansky to the corner, drops it in perfectly. Vinson Scalia, touchdown West Essex.
Wow. Let me tell you something, this Zack Lemansky kid is dropping dimes. An accurate throw of the football. Threw that ball with great touch on the fade route. Drop right down into the receiver's breadbasket. Was covered by a corner, had safety help over the top. He threw that football right in between both defenders into the end zone for 6.
Patrick Delahanty out of the hold of Luke D'Ignazio. Vincent Scalia, his 5th receiving touchdown of the season, beating his man one-on-one.
The only thing I would switch up if I'm Lemansky is he's looking down that go route. He's looking down that go route receiver, catching that ball and throwing that ball directly to him with that safety help over the top. Voorhees hasn't been able to take advantage of that and get there to make that play. But just a terrific throw. You can't throw it any better. Right in the receiver's breadbasket. You give him a chance to make the easy play, the easy catch. Going for 6. These guys are rolling.
Chris Benaquista began the speculation midweek as Vincent Scalia caps off a 55-yard scoring drive with a 25-yard touchdown reception. Remember, this is the drive that was continued with the Dorian Gashi 4th down punt fake conversion. And in total, the Knights go 10 plays for a touchdown. The speculation was whether or not Lemansky could return. That was published midweek. In my conversations with him during the week, he said, don't be surprised that Zack's our quarterback. He's got 2 throwing touchdowns in the first half in his first game back after missing 5 weeks. On the return, Voorhees out to the 34. First it was Perez. Now Scalia with a touchdown for West Essex, and Amanda has more.
He says when he was watching him play as a kid, he was lightning fast and he was such a natural athlete. He was someone who really had a great nose for the ball and remembers thinking he'll do some real special things for this team.
Scalia certainly has as a senior, making it a 2-touchdown advantage as George Eberle tries to fight the Vikings back into this North 2 Group 3 championship game. It's a pickup of about 10 on first down, and a first down picked up on the run.
74, Gerard Honorata had an opportunity to stop Eberle dead in his sights, penetrated into the backfield, but just ran upfield, didn't break down to make that play in the backfield on the ball carrier. I believe ran right by him and was able to advance the football.
Eberle spinning away back to the line of scrimmage.
And good job by Eberle with that fake handoff. Again, a similar play when Honorata had an opportunity to make that play in the backfield, but couldn't quite tell who had the football. So kudos to the ball carrier, to the quarterback, doing a nice job tucking that ball, not enabling him to make that play and spinning out of first contact, although he ultimately goes down anyway.
4th drive for Voorhees. First down's hard to come by. 2nd and 10. McCabe in motion. He looks to throw. Mccain down the field. Completed to Berger. Voorhees, a bag of tricks and a first down.
Nice 30-yard completion on the halfback pass. A play that this Voorhees offense needed to open up some things offensively, to give them some confidence moving forward in this football game. Haven't really been able to accomplish a whole lot on this side of the ball. Now they're entering the red zone, have an opportunity to put some points on the board.
A first down at the 24. Voorhees has 2 of their 3 first downs on this drive. Colin Tong navigates his way for about 5.
You hit on a big play, you open some things up, you get some confidence. Now your ball carrier starts making some jump cuts, doing a nice job navigating the defense, picking up a nice 5 yards on first down, putting you on schedule and in position to possibly score.
3-7 a year ago. Colin Tong saying the environment this year completely different. The last time Voorhees made a sectional final was when they won the Central Group 2 championship back in 1995. 2nd and 5. Big hole. Eberly diving to the 1.
And here we get to see the Jets. Eberly does a nice job tucking that football, dropping down the passing icons and just getting up the field. A couple downhill cuts. Gets brought down at the 1, and this is the type of thing that they need offensively. They can't play traditional offense. Nice pancake block right in the middle of the screen there. So now Voorhees starting to get a little bit physical. You can see he's just short with that elbow down. Looks like they may have gotten a little bit of a bad spot, but they're looking to go in anyway.
Direct snap to Rahn. He gets wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. What a play by Will Perez to come around the end and make the tackle.
Football in 2017, we actually go to the shotgun snap at the 1-yard line for a direct snap opportunity, which West Essex blows up. I mean, these guys are some blue-collar guys. They're looking to shoot those gaps, get into them, and disrupt your offense. So, I mean, it's certainly tough. I mean, you're talking about guys like Big Ben who operate, out the shotgun within the 5-yard line. It's just nothing I'll ever really get too accustomed to run the football.
Eberly under center this time, pushing. Side judges coming in. No signal yet. Touchdown, Voorhees. George Eberly caps off the drive with a 2-yard quarterback sneak.
And I like that. I mean, whenever you're within 2-3 yards, run an attitude play. Get your offensive line going. Force them to get off the football, pad under pad, and make you a play.
George Eberly looking for all 7 points. Kicks the PAT through the uprights. Deficit cut in half. Voorhees on the board in the North 2 Group 3 championship.
And they had to answer back right here and right now. This game was starting to get away from them a bit. West Essex was really starting to feel themselves on both sides of the ball, really trusting their defense. This is the first time that defense has really let up anything, and it all started with a trick play. So Voorhees doing a nice job finding an unconventional way to pick up a big play, eventually get into the end zone for a score, and they're going to have to continue to do that. You can't play this defense straight up. You got to trick them, hit them with some misdirection, fool them, then you give your offense a chance. And with a guy like Eberly and his ability to run the football, he also gives you a significant option and way to do multiple things.
Tommy Driscoll creating the space, the left guard for Eberly to surge over the goal line. He had a run that was short at the 1. This one, no question about it. Ball over the goal line before he was touched down. 8th rushing touchdown of the season for Eberly. Scores the touchdown, kicks the extra point, and now blasts this kickoff for a touchback. First of 4 games at MetLife. here on News 12 Varsity. North 2, Group 4 coming up, expected for a 1 p.m. kickoff. North Hunterdon and Phillipsburg, the top 2 seeds, battling for a championship in our next game. The Stateliners coming off of a Thanksgiving loss, ranked number 21 in the Tri-State. On first down, Will Perez takes it for 9 around the right side.
Gain of 9 on the play, 2nd and 1.
And that's the way you want to start off. First down, picking up 9 on first. You're ahead of schedule, and it opens up the playbook for you. Yeah, you can go ahead and pick up the first down here, or you can utilize the play action to drive the football down the field and open some things up.
Scalia in motion from right to left. Lemansky fakes the handoff. He keeps it for 5 and a West Essex first down.
Really, in West Essex, putting the multiple wing tee, they've got a lot of interesting trinkets to their offense and ways to get the job done. You saw Lemansky earlier in the game dropping dimes, throwing the football. Here he shows you he's pretty solid with his legs as well. But I tell you, with his ability to pass, man, he can really open some things up offensively throughout the game. Voorhees has to get on top of that.
From the 34, this is the fullback losing the football. Anthony Sangillo lost control. Voorhees has it. Jack McCabe on the spot. Vikings force the turnover.
The momentum is a crazy thing. Voorhees finally able to get a score, get the juices flowing. Guys got back into this game, got excited. Now all of a sudden things just kind of start to happen when that other team loses momentum. They start fumbling and making mistakes. A nice job getting the hat on the hat. Ball pops out, doing a great job recovering that football, ripping it out of there and cradling it at the end for that Voorhees possession. They've got to look to be aggressive here and put some more points on the board.
Best starting field position for Voorhees as each team has turned it over once. What an interception. Luke Ignacio plucks it out of the air, right back to West Essex.
Voorhees came out in play action with Eberly. Nobody bought it. Looked to fake the run, drive the slant, threw the ball high right into the defender's hands. We had a turnover by West Essex. They give the ball right back to those guys, and now they have a second life on this drive.
Luke D'Ignazio, a sack, an interception for West Essex, focusing on defense as Lemansky is back at quarterback. This is Vincent Scalia into the secondary, down to the 40. First down, West Essex.
Scalia, another very important cog to this offense. Not only running the ball, catching the ball out the backfield, where he had 12 receptions coming into this game, and he's a primetime player, a blue-collar guy that'll do whatever his team needs to be able to go out here and win some ball games. I like the way he utilizes his blocks. He's a patient runner, sets it up, runs off the hip, and makes plays.
Turnovers on consecutive plays from scrimmage. Can West Essex take advantage? Sangillo turns it over for West Essex, losing a fumble. That time ball security is good. Picks up about 1.
And where West Essex is really excelling is they're winning the numbers game at the point of attack, bringing lead blockers to that point of attack where the offensive linemen or blockers outnumber the defenders in that area, enabling the ball carrier to advance the football.
Sangillo picking up 3. Raucous crowd brought by Voorhees. Lemansky rolls out. Lemansky has a target, and it's a bit overthrown. Looking for Perez over the middle.
I was just about to say that was probably the first one that kind of got away from him, floated on him a bit. He was throwing that ball on the run. The other throws, he was able to really just take that shotgun snap, set his feet, and release the ball. Here he's moving to his right side. You see that ball sails on him just a little bit, gets away from him. It was still a somewhat catchable ball, but not quite like the dimes he's been throwing up to this point.
Jack McCabe, step for step with Perez. And even when Lemansky was out, stayed sharp mentally, didn't miss a practice, didn't miss a game. The best cheerleader on the sideline for Luke D'Ignazio, who took over for 3 games and got West Essex to this championship contest.
You better not miss a practice.
On 3rd down, not if you're the coach, Todrick. Sangillo gets stuffed. Charlie Eberle closed the hole. Over 100 tackles on the season.
It's been tough sledding in those A gaps. Voorhees doing a nice job getting a good fill there. Guys stepping up, squaring up at the line of scrimmage, meeting running backs in the alley and driving their feet.
Going forward on 4th down. Line to gain is the 30. Zack Lemansky rolls out. Running out of time, throws it, and it's incomplete. Potentially dangerous pass as he was going down to the turf.
And pressure bust pipes. I mean, we saw earlier in this game Lemansky able to kind of sit back there, throw those go routes without a whole lot of pressure. And also great coverage downfield by Voorhees, locking up these receivers, not giving them a receiver option to throw the football to. See, he's on the run again. And these haven't been his best plays where he's moving to his right side looking to throw that football. Just a great job covering guys down the field by Voorhees. And also those defenders scraping over the top to bother him. You can't just let them sit back there and throw. You got to pressure them into bad decisions, and there was one that they almost had a chance to really capitalize on a turnover with, but the ball ended up hitting the field turf.
Scott Fernandez wrapped up the quarterback. Charlie Eberle got the deflection. False start. Left side of the line for Voorhees moving.
Dead ball. False start. 5 yards. Repeat 1st down.
Prior to the start of this drive for the Vikings, they won the toss, elected to receive, so West Essex gets the ball to start the 2nd half. Bob Engstad's team took the ball to start the game, and on 1st down, a predominantly running team took a shot down the field. They really set the tone early, except they couldn't convert, and West Essex took a 14-0 lead before the Vikings could respond. John Roncoroni on the direct snap. He's got 8 yards on the run.
And good job getting some of that yardage back. You always want to chop into a good half of it after picking up a big penalty. So nice job staying with it. Offensively being efficient. And look to continue to move the football.
Roncoroni playing that hybrid receiver running back position that Colin Tong manned last year. Eberle, play fake. Eberle stepping up, spins away from a sack, away from another tackle. He is dragged down by Anthony Sangillo, but not before picking up a 1st down.
And Eberle, not the biggest guy, but plays with good balance and power. This is probably the 3rd time in this game a defender's had a hand on a jersey or had him wrapped where he was able to spin out of a tackle and advance the football for a nice positive play. Does a great job with his strength here, eyes downfield. Michael Jackson spin, gets to the left side of the field and falls forward. What more can you ask of your quarterback?
Doesn't appear, though, that Eberle's wearing any gloves. Could it really be a Michael Jackson spin?
Right.
Colin Tong gets the 1st down call. It was Eamon Morrissey on the previous play that was inches away from his 14th sack.
He's had a heck of a year, making plays, being physical. Between their 2 defensive ends, came into this football game with 27 sacks between the 2 of them. So certainly have guys that can get after it and force change.
2nd and 10. Eberle under pressure. Onoranta chasing the quarterback. Eberle will run with it and lower a punishing shoulder to Perez.
He certainly did.
Flag down.
Well, let's see what that flag is for. Eberle looked like he did a nice job finishing off the run.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down.
I think you could almost hear with these referee calls that they've watched so much college and NFL that now that they're announcing it, they want to say the number, but you just don't do that in high school.
Right. You don't. I mean, these kids are amateurs, and I mean, so are the college players, but these are young kids that you certainly don't want to embarrass, for any reason. Aranta is probably the best player in this game for almost making a play, penetrating in the backfield, does a nice job with that. Hasn't been able to finish those plays. And Eberly, again, a guy that can evade contact in the backfield, get up the field, and finish off the run, lowering the boom.
Eberly with time. Good coverage down the field. He escapes the pocket. Eberly with running room. Right at the first down marker, getting to the 41. Should move the change there for Voorhees.
First down, Voorhees.
Timeout taken by the Vikings with 57 seconds to go in the first half.
Timeout, Voorhees.
They do a nice job getting to the sticks here. Eberly starts to the left side of the field, brings his vision back to the right where he sees an open field. I really thought he was going to lower the boom again on consecutive plays to pick up that first, but was able to sort of craftily find that soft spot in the defense and extend that football beyond the chains.
Voorhees at 9-2 on the season, a 7-win regular season for the first time since 2003. And if you look at their 2 losses, both those teams playing today for a sectional championship.
Yep, we'll see North Hunterdon next. A very, very good competitive football team. It was a tight game there that they probably feel like they shouldn't have lost. But overall, a fantastic season for this Voorhees team. Looking to win their first title in over 20 years now.
Their last championship was in 1995. Their last playoff win prior to their run this year, 2002. Eberly throws incomplete.
Defended by Phil Lutz.
Jack McCabe incomplete. Amanda has more on the Voorhees schedule.
Well, David, we took a look at that schedule. We saw Governor Livingston at the very first game. That one was at Kean University, and after the game, the team took a knee, and this coaching staff said, this is where we want to be at the end of the season. We want to be playing a championship game here. So you can imagine how excited they were to be playing in the title game, but even when they found out that they were going to be here at MetLife Stadium.
No question. It wasn't exactly how they predicted it, but I'm sure they'll take it. Eberly throws down the field, and it's nearly picked off. Vinson Scalia, the closest one to it for West Essex.
And that's certainly not what you want to do when you're fighting and clawing to get back into this football game. Eberly's a guy that's really, I think he realizes that he has to put this game on his shoulders. But you don't want him to press, especially in the passing game, and throw the football into double coverage down the field with that safety help over the top, looking to come across and pick that ball off.
So while they thought about getting back to Kane after their Week 1 victory, a lot of these players do have a connection to MetLife. Colin Tong, George Eberly, and others played here 6 years ago in a youth game. And Bob Engstadt, in his senior year back in 1979, playing for North Hunterdon, lost a sectional semifinal at the old Giants Stadium. That is an incomplete pass. Rodenberger along the sidelines. It's 4th down.
This kind of takes some of the juice out of the momentum that Voorhees was able to establish, being that they weren't able to pick up some points on this drive. They've done some really good things here, fought their way back into this ball game, and it's certainly the smart thing to do is to punt this ball away and send your defense out there on the field.
George Eberly, high kick. West Essex didn't have anybody back for the return. And the ball is down at the 1. Good special teams play once again for the Vikings. Nathan Magaglio. George Eberly, the lone touchdown for the Vikings earlier this quarter. 27 seconds to go. It was a touchdown for Voorhees after falling behind 14-0. Zack Lemansky, in his return to the starting lineup, has thrown a pair of touchdown passes in the first half. Mike Finetti will snap it at the 1. And Lemansky just earning a few yards across the 5 to the 6.
Knights do a nice job buying themselves some space to operate. Looks like this clock will run out, and we'll send these guys off into the tunnel.
Couldn't take a knee there, so Lemansky picks up 5 on the run. Chris Benaquista says, let's go to the locker room as the Knights get the ball to start the second half. They'll do so with a touchdown lead. North 2 Group 3 final is at halftime. Voorhees back in a championship game for the first time in over 2 decades, and they fell behind early. Will Perez and Vincent Scalia touchdown receptions from Zack Lemansky. But George Eberle will not go away quietly. A touchdown for the Vikings, and we have a game at half. Halftime at MetLife Stadium. North 2 Group 3 Championship. West Essex with a 14-7 lead over Voorhees in a first half, Todrick, defined by big plays, turnovers, and trickery.
Well, it was all nice to start this game with Lemansky dropping dimes like we're going to take a look at right here. Does a nice job on the go route to Perez, who surprised some people. It's normally the team's tailback. This time he's a receiver running the go route. Sets off the game with a huge touchdown. Defensively, the Knights were all over it, making plays on both sides of the ball, being headsy, well coached, great game plan, the trickery that absolutely demoralized that Voorhees defense. I thought it took him a little bit of time to readjust and get back into this football game, and especially when you got a quarterback that's dropping dimes in like that one on the fade route to his receivers, showed up the play, could have potentially missed this game, but is making some significant plays that has his guys ahead. But Voorhees, they fought back. They gave everything they had. Defensively, they stood up. They made some plays. It all started off with that trick play. Burley was able to get into the end zone and make this thing competitive. Now they have a good chance to fight and compete to potentially win this ball game too.
It all adds up to a 14-7 lead for West Essex. Those 93 pass yards for Zack Lemansky, bringing back an element to the Knights' offense that they didn't really have the last 3 weeks with him out.
And those 2 turnovers for Voorhees, you just can't have it against this tough defense. They'll make it tough enough for you to be able to score the ball. You can't give it away. Give away those opportunities.
Knights have the lead and the ball to start the second half. North 2 Group 3 championship is at the break with the Knights up by a touchdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a nice day for the West Essex High School Marching Band.
Acceleration. Top speed. Changing motion. When the level rectangle in your technique is the approach to structure for its hands. Drop the programming and testing the one's toughness is your performer. Challenge. The result of testing. Our way is not team attitude, team unity, team training. Stepping up to the challenge.
14-7, West Essex has the lead over Voorhees, moments away from the start of the third quarter, and checking in with both head coaches was Amanda Puglisi.
Well, David, as you were just saying, Voorhees is down by 7 points, but Coach isn't too worried because he says his team has had a late game mentality. They've been in a lot of games late, so he knows that they're really tough when it comes to these kinds of games. So what they need to do right now, they need to come out and they need to score because this West Essex team has been on fire. And when I spoke to their head coach, he says he loves the way that Lemansky is playing, and a lot of that has to do with the offensive line. They're really giving Lemansky a lot of time to throw, and he thinks that's also going to help open up the run game. That's something that they've been strong in all season long, and they're looking to do that to mix it up a bit on offense.
With Todrick Hunt, David Resnick, you just heard from Amanda Puglisi, and I think it's an interesting point where West Essex, their multiple wing T set, a team that typically runs to set up the pass, they've really allowed Zack Lemansky to drop back quite a bit.
Oh, they certainly have, and they've had a lot of success, especially early in this football game. I thought the offensive line, to Coach's point, did a nice job protecting, mirroring and sliding their feet, keeping the quarterback clean. I thought a little bit later in that first half, that Voorhees defense was able to touch Lemansky a little bit, get a hand on him, pressure him a little bit. They started rolling out on waggles or bootlegs, and they were able to get a little physical with them and disrupt the passing game a bit. So let's see if they go back to more of a traditional way to pass the football.
Third quarter is underway. Vinson Scalia allows the ball to skip by him into the end zone for a touchback. West Essex taking over at the 20-yard line. George Eberly, quarterback, kicker, punter, place kicker, doing a little bit of everything as Zack Lemansky takes over. 1st and 10 for this Knights offense after throwing 2 touchdowns in the first half. They keep it on the ground for 1st down. This is Will Perez breaking into the secondary. A gain of 21 to open up the 3rd quarter.
And Perez has really been able to utilize his speed in this football game, and they're putting him in spots offensively where he can really contribute to this game. Started off the game catching the ball down the field. Here a little bit of jet sweep type action, or a little bit of counter type play where he comes around that corner in space, navigating that defense, does a nice job picking up the 1st down.
Scalia in motion, fullback dive. Anthony Sangillo, 3-yard gain out to the 44.
Looks like close to 4 yards, so certainly on schedule. You want to get those 4 or 5 yard chunks on 1st down to put you in comfortable 2nd and 3rd down situations, which is called being on schedule from an offensive standpoint. And as an offensive coordinator, that's what you look to continue to do to be able to continue to move those chains.
Scalia with a lead block, using a stiff arm. He's got the 1st down inside of Voorhees territory.
Carmen Kakuza, number 58. We talked about what he does and what he brings on the defensive side of the ball. Came into this game with 15 sacks, but also does a nice job as a lead blocker, going out there to seek and destroy and get in the way of defenders, even if you can't quite get there and make the big blow-up block, to just get in their way and allow your running back the opportunity to read that block and explode off your hip. Can really allow for big plays offensively.
Scalia was freed because of the blocking of the offensive line. Will Perez through the middle for about 4 down to the 41-yard line.
Love to see those offensive linemen taking those zone steps, utilizing good balance, power, and the ability to finish. Nice job by this offensive line, covering up defenders, doing a nice job staying on those blocks. Not getting a whole lot of finishes, but getting in those guys' way.
Penalty before the play.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 10 yards, 5 yards. Repeat 2nd down.
You said zone steps a moment ago. What do you mean?
Well, when you run inside zone, outside zone, you take basically a bucket step. When you step outside, then you split half a man. That 3rd step, you're pretty much getting to that outside shoulder to allow that back to get to that side and make his decision as to where he wants to cut that ball up the field.
On 2nd and 11 after the penalty, a pass down the field, ripped away and caught for the touchdown. Phil Lutz took it away for 6.
Touchdown pass from Lemansky to Phil Lutz.
Lutz showing what he's all about. Had an opportunity earlier in the game to make a big play down the field, sort of misjudged the football and tracking it in the air. This time he makes no such mistake. Does a great job catching the football, spinning out of a tackle, picking up that yardage after the catch, and getting into the end zone. Big time play.
Patrick Delahanty will kick the extra point. West Essex in formation after the swinging gate. It is good. 21-7, the lead for the Knights. And another look at the touchdown pass, the 3rd for Lemansky.
Lemansky does a nice job rolling to his right. On those throws early in the ball game, he was a little bit off target when not able to set his feet. This time, places the ball somewhat on the money. Happened to be a bit of a 50-50 ball, but the defender ended up falling to the ground. And Lutz was able to corral this football, get his eyes around, step out of that tackle, and fight to the corner of the end zone to slide in. Took a little while for it to register for the referees there, but that's certainly a touchdown.
Phil Lutz made a game-changing play in the semifinals against 5th-seeded Rawa Here, he caps off an 80-yard scoring drive with a 46-yard touchdown reception. Lutz, just a junior, but already school records for catches, yards, and touchdowns.
And Lemansky, I mean, 4-7 as far as completions, but 3 of those completions have gone for touchdowns into 3 different receivers. So they're doing a nice job getting everybody involved, hitting the open receiver as opposed to just eyeing down one particular guy to get him the ball.
Perez, Scalia, Lutz, all recipients of a Lemansky touchdown pass. Colin Tong, short of the 30.
And if you're Voorhees, you've got to answer right now. You can't get comfortable in this ball game. You're able to snatch away some of that momentum at one point in the first half. Now I think it's pretty clear that the Knights have that back, and now that defense will be flying around with their ears pinned back because all of a sudden they have that 2-score lead back. So Voorhees has to find a way to pick up a big chunk here, advance field position, get to plus field position, and give themselves an opportunity to score.
20th start for the junior George Eberle. Took over 3 games into his sophomore year, handing off to William Tong. And it's a first down for the Vikings.
And that's just a hard run by the Vikings. They do a nice job moving the chains. A lot of credit to the running back on this play. Comes around the corner, finds something on the left side of the field. Absolutely bullies a defender who basically came downhill but didn't bring that thunder. Wasn't able to get him to the ground. Fell forward for an additional 4 to 5 yards. So nice run.
Toss to Roncaroni. Makes a man miss. Stays on his feet, dancing his way for 7. And after attempting big plays in the first half, Voorhees keeping it on the ground. Short pass to the flat to John Roncaroni, the leading receiver for the Vikings this year.
And I like to mix in swing passes. It's sort of like a glorified run, which you basically don't allow that defense to set the edge because he sort of leaks out of the backfield into the flat, sort of outflanking the defense. It allows for a more successful play from scrimmage.
Voorhees spreads it out to run up the middle. John Roncaroni out of the backfield behind an offensive line that returned all 5 starters.
And this is a nice response, like you said, by Voorhees and this offensive line.
Fresh set of downs for the Vikings.
And it's important, especially when you got guys that can rush the passer like the Knights do. You got to really lock in offensively during pass pro, mirror and slide, and during rundowns. Get to guys' pads and finish.
Colin Tong might have lost a yard.
Stopped on the play by Marvin Kuzu.
And they missed a hold there on that Voorhees offense, but the play went for naught anyway. So it didn't necessarily have the type of impact on the play that warranted the call. But again, this Knights defense anchoring down, bending, but so far not breaking on this drive.
Jet sweep into the boundary. Roncaroni. Big play for Voorhees.
Just a nice play call. Again, we talked about outnumbering the defenders at the point of attack, and that's exactly what you see here by this Voorhees offense. Great block, lead block by 32. Does a great job getting on the defender, wrapping around on the reach, getting a nice seal, allowing the running back to pick up additional yardage, totaling 36 on the play. Beautiful play by Voorhees.
Eberle on the read, keeps it down to the 10.
and they found their mojo. I really like this drive from a play call standpoint, really mixing things up, keeping the Knights off balance where they can't necessarily find the football or predict what's coming on any given play. When you have a quarterback like Eberle who can tuck that football and run on any given play, you certainly got to keep those guys honest, which opens up things on the outside because you got to spy on him from the inside of that defense.
Into the red zone for just a second time. Second and short. Ron Peroni couldn't handle the toss, and Dorian Gashi quickly covers that up.
2 turnovers already on the day. Certainly don't want to give away a third in a tightly contested ball game in which you're already down 2 scores, but have a chance to win. Solid play call, just wasn't able to accept the pitch properly. They don't quite get it done right there.
3rd and 9. Voorhees scored at the 10-minute mark of the second quarter, their only scoring play of the day. Eberle throws to the perimeter. Ron Corroding slips under a tackle, but then he is swarmed and buried at the 10. Short of the first down, 4th down 4, and decision time here for Bob Engstad.
Peroni doing a nice job not going down on first contact, keeps his lower half moving, digs deep, looks to pick up every single inch that he possibly can. He's really fighting for this football team. As you said, decision time here. What are they going to do? You got to find a way to put some points on the board and keep up with this offensive explosion of the Knights.
This would be a 28-yard field goal attempt. Eberle has hit from 37. Eberle is out there, but as the quarterback. 4th and 5. Eberle, fade, end zone, jump ball, broken up. A combination making the play. It's Scalia along with Dalbo.
West Essex will take over on downs at the 11-yard line.
I mean, that's just Voorhees saying, listen, I think our receiver is better than your DB. We're going to put him out there on an island and ask him to make a play, but there's that single high safety, so they had that help over the top, so it turned into double coverage and basically a ball up for grabs in the corner of the end zone that the Knights were able to bat down. Not necessarily the smartest throw, but you know, they went for it.
And target was Jack McCabe, double covered in the end zone. West Essex takes over at its own 11-yard line, and Anthony Sangillo starts the drive off with a run for 2.
I just have a hard time as a play caller calling plays in which you're somewhat handicapped and don't have a number of options. If a defense has a way to take away your first and second option, you got to have 3rd and 4th options on plays to be able to convert them, especially in games like this one.
Will Perez picks up good yardage. How about the idea of going for it on 4th down with the ability to put 3 on the board?
I like it. I like it. I just feel like this has been somewhat of a high-octane explosion by the Knights. They're probably not done scoring in this ball game, although they do have, you know, somewhat poor field position at this very moment. You're playing this game to win it. You haven't won one since 1995. You didn't come here to play it safe. You came here to step up and win a football game. So I certainly agree with the call. I don't necessarily love the play call, but I like that they went for it.
Scalia on 3rd down, slips a tackle, roughed up right at the sticks, but the linemen come in at the 22. Should be good for a 1st down. Will Rodenberger was there, but not quick enough. And frankly, for the decision for Voorhees, they've been aggressive from the jump. So the idea that they would go for it inside the red zone looking for 6 and bypassing on the field goal attempt makes sense for their entire game plan.
And again, hey, if you don't get it, you got good defensive field position and an opportunity to get the ball back.
1st down and just pushing straight ahead. Zack Lemansky.
Gain of 5 on the play, 2nd and 5.
And I think both teams have done a decent job of play calling throughout the game. The Knights obviously got off to a fast start throwing the football, now up 2 scores with just under 3 minutes left in the third quarter. They're looking to really establish the run game and start to chew up some of this clock and demoralize that defense as they slowly and patiently watch those seconds start to tick off and know they're under the gun.
2nd and 5. Scalia off left tackle. First down, West Essex. Their offensive line starting to have their way in the trenches.
I mean, each and every first down is taking a couple years off of Voorhees' lifespan. They certainly have to find a way to wake up, start filling those gaps, and not allow these guys to just run this football down their throats. This offensive line has had a really nice game. I thought they sort of got out of position on a couple of those waggle plays, which allowed Lemansky to get touched up on a couple plays. But when it comes down to running that football, they do a nice job getting into their guys' pads, covering up guys, looking for the finish. And now they need these guys to win this game for them.
Sangillo runs out of bounds on 1st and 10.
Warren Orlando, the lead blocker on that play, does a nice job getting to that outside shoulder on the reach block, allowing just a little bit of daylight for the ball carrier so they can come up with at least a positive play.
Lemansky on 2nd and 8. Perez into the open field. First down in Voorhees territory. Will Perez has been a playmaker all game for West Essex.
And Lemansky's done a great job. We heard a lot about Lutz coming into this game, but so far Perez is probably the player of this game. He's affected it in multiple facets on both sides of the ball, catching the ball, running the ball, making defensive plays down the field in coverage, and he's playing to win. This game is certainly important to him. He has a great opportunity to break out here and put on a show, and he's had himself a heck of a day.
McCabe makes the tackle, but not before Perez picks up another West Essex first down. 171 yards in the semifinals. He's been clutch again for the Knights. Sangillo up the middle into the arms of Luke Martirana.
And a lot of people at home are probably wondering, why is West Essex running those plays, those fullback dives? Well, you have to. You have to keep that defense honest. You got to keep them in position to be prepared for those runs up the middle to be able to set up some other things to the outside and down the field.
Sangillo carrying the ball more than any other back for West Essex and really taking a pounding in doing so, as Todrick mentioned. Scalia with Sangillo providing a lead block. Good play on the edge. Kyle Enchill, another tackle, really establishing the edge of the defense.
And he made a big play earlier in the game in a similar fashion, able to really shoot that gap, get up the field, and bring the ball carrier down to the ground. And they need some more of those plays in the backfield where they're reading things, getting on top of ball carriers before they get that full head of steam.
West Essex will take it to the fourth quarter. After 4 straight trips to the semifinals, the Knights broke through this season. They've got 8 section titles in school history. They won a 9th. In position to do so, a 21-7 lead for West Essex through 3 quarters. Another touchdown for Lemansky over the top to Lutz. West Essex in good position to take home the crown. 9 wins in a row for West Essex, looking for a 10th and a North 2 Group 3 championship, up 21-7 to begin the fourth quarter. Just a single loss on the year. That came back in week 2 against Group 4's West Morris. Since then, perfect. 9 straight wins, the last 5 by at least 2 touchdowns.
And I'd expect to see the Knights continue to pound the football with 12 minutes left until a potential state championship.
With Todrick Hunt, David Resnick, Amanda Puglisi down on the sidelines. Our entire News 12 varsity crew from MetLife Stadium. First of 4 games today from this site, one of 12 from across the state that you can watch on news12varsity.com. Will Perez sets up a 4th and 3.
And if you're Voorhees, you got to be thinking, look, we've got to force sudden change. We've got to turn this ball over and get it back for our offense. And you've also got to be thinking, hey, we need some big plays. We need to score. All right, if that ball ends up on the field turf, we're not looking to fall on it unless somebody's right in our radius. We're looking to scoop that ball and score. We're looking to take a pick 6 to the house. They need another shot in the arm to have a chance to win this game.
Tight formation. Perez around right. Gets stopped. Big play for the Voorhees defense. They needed it, and Will Rodenberger made it.
We talked about these guys needing to be able to attack. They can't just sit back and allow the Knights to just run the football. The Knights have done a nice job passing the ball, but now you know, down in distance, you know the situation that they're in and that they'll be looking to run. You got to step up in those running lanes, run blitz, do whatever you have to do to be able to force some pressure, get in those gaps in those alleys, and blow up some plays.
Sangillo tried to get there. Rodenberger just ran right past him to make the tackle. West Essex does take 5 minutes of clock on the drive as Voorhees takes over, trailing by 2 touchdowns and keeping it on the ground to Colin Tong.
Well-designed play. Looked like the timing was a little off. 4 receiver set, had trips to the right side of the field, brought the right slot receiver in motion to the left side of the field, ran counter back the other way. Nice design there, but the timing was a little bit off, which allowed the Knights to see it, get over the top, scrape and make that play.
"19 seniors on this Voorhees roster looking to capture the sectional title, but trailing 21-7. Eberly scrambles to the sticks.
There you saw Voorhees in a 3 receiver set. They had a wing back on the left side of the field, ran a drag to the right side of the field, opened up things for Eberly to hit that run lane and pick up some positive yardage.
Rob Engstad looking on. His first 4 seasons, the Vikings were 6-4. First time in school history that they had 4 straight winning seasons. Eberly scrambling again and pummeled. Who else? Will Perez.
Same formation, except they moved the wing back this time to the right side of the field and just ran some direct snap action with Eberly, who's their best athlete and the guy that probably has to carry this team to the finish line. They're able to pick up some more positive yardage. So one thing I'll say is these guys are still playing, they're still competing, they're still moving the ball, and they still have a chance in this game with over 9 minutes left.
Vicious takedown by Perez. Tong looking for something, and he's crunched out of bounds. Eamon Morrissey runs him out.
And there just wasn't much there as the Knights stretch this play out. They do a nice job running with him, taking away those running lanes, at the same time setting the edge and not allowing him to get outside.
Along with Morrissey, it was Luke DiGnazio, a sack and an interception. Focusing defensively today with the return of Lemansky at quarterback.
He's been brilliant.
Eberly lost the football. Perez knocked it away. West Essex jumps on top of it. 3rd takeaway for the Knights. It was picked up by Sangillo, a flag well after the recovery that appears to be against West Essex, but it's Knights football.
And if you're the Vikings, that's something that you just can't have. We talked about turnovers, how they had 2 in the first half, which put them in a tough position, and now.
Dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct. West Essex, 15 yards from the recovery, first down.
Let's take a look at this play here. Little fake where he shows the football, fakes the handoff, ends up keeping it off the right side, does a nice job advancing the football. The Knights do a good job getting a strip. Ball falls in bounds. Only black jerseys around it. They do a nice job corralling it, cradling it, covering up the guy on the ground with the ball. Little extracurriculars after the play that had them backing up, but at the end of the day, they got the ball back with just over 9 minutes left in this game and a 2-score lead.
Will Perez scored the game's opening touchdown on a 64-yard catch. He's contributed on the ground game, forced the fumble, been great defensively. The 6'1", 181-pound junior has been everywhere for the Knights, and he picks up 5 there.
Certainly one of their playmakers, and what I like about their offense is, yeah, it's a wing tee offense, but they have a lot of little added elements, and they put their players in different spots to be successful. They move them around, and it's certainly an offense with some flow to it. It's very multiple, and it's something that you can get excited about as a young player to come out and compete for.
Perez didn't look fluid there coming out of the huddle. And as he goes in motion, looks like he's laboring. Vinson Scalia out to the 35. About a yard short of the first down.
Yeah, you saw Perez there holding his back and wincing a bit down there on the field. It was funny, they had Lutz spread wide out on the right side of the field with an opportunity to snap the ball with no defender covering him. In which they could have just thrown that go route and potentially got another score, but didn't quite see it quickly enough.
Joe Dalbo is checked in. A sneak here for the Knights. It was a non-contact injury back in week 8, a hip fracture, in which the timetable for his return was 4 to 6 weeks. And on the 4-week anniversary, Zach's mother texted Chris Benaquista and said, hey, Zach's going to the doctor on Monday. I think he's going to be cleared. I think this is going to be possible. And Coach Benaquista is saying that last weekend the outlook was completely different. Got the word on Monday that their star quarterback would return or have the possibility to do so. He's looked great throughout the week and even better on game day. 5 weeks after suffering that fracture in his hip. Flag is down.
And now he has his Willis Reed moment. I mean, played tremendously out here today. Doing a nice job leading his team and making plays and even running the football at times.
And maybe even better than Willis because he's going to complete the entire contest.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
We don't know what Luke Dignazio would have done. We do know that he went 3-0 in Lemansky's absence. We know that he was a quarterback that his team trusted. But when you look at the passes that Lemansky has thrown, who had 1,000 yards in 8 games, completing 58% of the passes, the plays that he's made through the air, that's been the difference today.
Certainly. It's an opportunity to go over 1,200 yards for the second consecutive year. A guy that can really keep his eyes downfield and make plays with his arm.
Will Perez around left.
If this Voorhees defense, you got to start thinking about stripping that football. That clock is not your friend. If you're one of the Knights, you want to continue to run this football. You want your offensive line to fire off pad after pad. You challenge those guys on the sideline before they come out. Let them know their responsibility, their assignment. The rest of this game is on them. And as far as your backs, you make sure those guys go down in bounds so that clock keeps running.
The cheerleaders want the ball. They have a point. Voorhees needs the football, trailing 2 touchdowns midway through the 4th. Scalia on 2nd down and 14. The complement of Perez and Scalia, their shiftiness on the perimeter. Sangillo taking a pounding up the middle. You can see how in this wing T offense all the pieces fit together.
And they've really spread the love today. I mean, coming into this game, Lutz was responsible for 65% of their receiving yards. I mean, he's a guy that pretty much did it all. Caught 40 balls coming into this game, multiple touchdowns, and was really a rare entity for this wing T type of offense that is, you know, again, multiple.
Delahunty in there on the right side of the line. Perez into the secondary. It's a 1st down, converting on 3rd and 6.
Nice job by Jack McCobb with the shoestring tackle. Or just goes for 6. Watch him scrape over the top here. Had some ground to make up. Shows great range and gives everything he's got to reach out and slap the ankle of the ball carrier, or he certainly would have scored there. And there you see Perez stretching out that lower back. He's had a great game. Certainly shouldn't have to come back into this game to finish anything off. His team has the ball, a 2-score lead, and they're moving the chains.
On 1st down, Anthony Sangillo runs out of bounds. Just want to correct something mentioned that Delahunty was on the right side of the line. It's actually the tight end Ryan Rusignolo that was creating the block on the end of the line. Sangillo picking up 5 on that 1st down run.
If you're his coach, you're telling Sangillo, get down in bounds. We don't want you running out of bounds and stopping this clock. We're 4.5 minutes away from dancing in MetLife Stadium. Let's keep this clock rolling.
Crunching hit. McCabe on Scalia.
And he's got an attitude and a reason to be mad. Doesn't look like they'll go on to win this ball game, but that young man right there has nothing to be ashamed of. Played lights out all day. He's like a heat-seeking missile when it comes to getting to the football, looking for the finish. Watch this contact here where he brings the shoulder, squares up, then drives his feet. Playing with a lot of attitude, a lot left in the tank, but they need him to come up with a big play here. They need to force some sudden change, get the ball back, or potentially score themselves.
Will Rodenberger slowed the back down, and then McCabe finished him off. On 3rd and 1, you talked earlier, why do they continue to go back to the fullback dive? That time it picks up the 1st down.
It's just a tremendous overall game plan for the Knights coming into this one. You know, I've loved the play calling. I love the way they mix things up and keep the defense off balance. They never could really get a beat on what West Essex was looking to do throughout this ball game.
He still looks nervous, don't you think?
Hey, he's being a coach. He's locked into this moment, knowing there isn't much time. You certainly want to hold the rope for another 3 minutes and make sure you get out of here with a W.
6-minute drive for West Essex, 1st and 10.
Oof.
Fernandez buries Sangillo right at the line. And Voorhees takes the timeout to freeze the clock with 2:58 to go in the 4th.
Timeout, Voorhees.
21-7 as the Vikings talk things over. West Essex in control from the jump, scoring the first 14 points of the game. Eberle scored about midway through the 2nd quarter to put Voorhees on the board, but the 3rd touchdown pass from Zack Lemansky created a 2-touchdown lead in the 3rd that the Knights have enjoyed. West Essex back into the championship game for the first time since 2011 when they won it all, their most recent of 8 championships.
I'll tell you, this is a heck of a football program. It all starts down from the top in coaching and the way this program is run. Certainly a lot of good football being played throughout this conference. As you watch this connection down the field here, looking at football into the hands. Great success here at MetLife Stadium, getting the job done. Beautiful reverse here to the end zone for that score at 32-14. West Essex, a program used to have success. It's been a few years. Great for these guys to be back here and getting the job done.
It was a comeback victory against Riverdale that was capped off by that Ralph Velarde 39-yard run.
Timeout.
And after a short run in present day, Voorhees calls another timeout. First year for Chris Benaquista was back in 2011. He won the title in his first year, and Amanda has more on that last championship.
Well, that 2011 and all of the other championship teams for this West Essex team has really been a motivating factor. There's a display box right in the hallway that leads to the locker room, and in there they have memorabilia from the championship runs, and it's a way for this coaching staff to say, we know it's a lot of hard work, we know a lot of sacrifices have to be made, but look here, here's a tangible reward, and it'll all be worth it when you can call yourselves state champs.
Chris Benaquista saying he always knew how tough it was to be a consistent program year in, year out, have the opportunity to play for titles. But since he's been out of the championship game after that first year in 2011, he's really come to appreciate just how difficult it is to be great every year.
But they've been better than good. I mean, he's kept these guys in the playoffs and competing with low numbers in the program. Only 10 seniors out here competing for that ball club today. But I'll tell you what, those 10 seniors make up the personality of this football team. They're hard-nosed, they're blue-collar, they block up front, they do a nice job tackling, and they win ball games. And they'll be your next champion.
Voorhees makes the stop on third down.
Voorhees, their third and final timeout.
Vikings out of timeouts, trailing 21-7, and a 4th and 7 upcoming for West Essex. So lucky for you, there is still more football to come. This is just the first of 4 games today here at MetLife Stadium. And let's take a look at the rest of the schedule. North Hunterdon and Phillipsburg will battle for the North 2 Group 4 championship, followed by Riverdale and Ramapo. Tonight's coverage wraps up North 1 Group 4 tilt between Mount Olive and Old Tappan. See that Jordan Fuller, I think, interception for Ohio State?
Oh, man, he's had a heck of a second year over there at Ohio State. Arguably one of the most productive players on that defense. I believe he's their leading tackler. Has been grabbing a pick, it appears to be, about every other game. He's certainly a guy that stepped up and making big plays at the next level.
Just like Lemansky, stepping up and finding Perez. The capper for West Essex. Touchdown Knights.
And if you weren't sure if Perez was your player of the game, I think he pretty much cemented it with that play. I mean, just a couple plays ago, he's on the sideline, stretching out his back. Looked like he was experiencing a lot of discomfort. And I said, hey, this kid does not have to come back in this ball game. They were up 2 scores with just minimal time left in the game. But you know what? That young man said, no, this is the championship. I'm playing till there's 3 zeros on the clock. I'm going to go out there and make plays for my team as long as I possibly can.
44 years of the current championship format, 25 playoff appearances for West Essex. Patrick Delahunty left-footed and good. 28-7. West Essex has the lead. Will Perez with 2 touchdowns.
And I mean, he's just done it all. Does a great job getting his eyes back to the quarterback, mirrors the quarterback on his rollout, provides a great web. It's a good-sized target, looks that ball into his hands, gets his eyes wrapped around again to get up the field and into the end zone for the score. Just a terrific football player, and he's put forth a terrific game. And look at that drive. I mean, 6 minutes and 35 seconds in a game in which you're up 2 scores with minimal time left in the game. To be able to control the game, control the clock, chew it up, and come out on the other end with a score. Just a beautiful performance overall by this West Essex team. Kudos to that coaching staff and their preparation, because they've played lights out today.
That touchdown scored right in front of the band and a raucous student section. They got a good look at the effort by Will Perez. Delahanty will squib it. Takes a high bounce and collected at the 25. Fernandez for Voorhees on the return. West Essex took the ball with 9:01 remaining in the quarter. They score their 4th touchdown with a 6.5-minute drive.
And if you're Voorhees here, you just want to play for pride. You want to go out and play this game hard until the very end. Try to potentially put some points on the board and make something happen. But certainly a tough way to go out after a tremendous season. They've done some great things here. Again, haven't won a title since '95. Had a terrific chance here, just couldn't quite get it done.
Eberle with great coverage down the field takes the sack. Carmen Kakuza and Dorian Gashi combined for the takedown.
And for the most part, the Knights have been able to keep Eberle in the pocket. He hasn't been able to escape, where he can extend the play, create with his feet to throw the ball down the field.
Completed pass on the slant. McCabe, first down, Voorhees.
Nice ball and on time from Eberle. Looked like a little bit of a rub, where he's able to hit the slant on time. Receiver's able to get up the field. They're on the move now.
Eberle drops back, slings another one to McCabe. Fighting for the extra yard. Should be good for 10 with 90 seconds to go.
Another dart and a great sense of urgency. Kind of makes you start to wonder why they didn't go to this earlier in the ballgame.
Eberle with the flag down. Dancing around in the pocket. Finally freed. Has a man. John Roncoroni. Scalia finally tugs him to the turf, but a flag back at the line of scrimmage.
In the holding area of the field, in which you would assume it's a hold simply because he was protected for what felt like a good 10 seconds before deciding to drop the passing icons and get up the field and deliver that ball.
Block below the waist. On the offense. Repeat. 2nd down. Block below the waist.
Now, believe you're able to block below the waist, but believe the way the rule goes is you can't have one guy holding a guy up and have another guy fly in and block below the waist. So maybe that's what happened on the prior play there, as Voorhees is in such a hurry to move the ball. They're going fast and just trying to make something happen here.
As they build this drive and their season coming to a close, certainly building something at Voorhees. Bob Engstad has this program in the right direction. 8 losing seasons before he took over. Eberle takes a shot. Batted around and incomplete. To make this sectional final for the first time in over 20 years, to have this team as competitive as they've been in the Mid-State 38 Mountain Division.
And we've given a lot of praise to this West Essex defense, but haven't talked a whole lot about that 3rd level of the defense, which I think has done a tremendous job keeping Eberle at bay, in which he wasn't able to deliver the ball down the field. Their coverage has been terrific. When he has taken shots, they've gotten over the top. You saw that last play, which basically turned into triple coverage, where black shirts had more of a chance of receiving the ball than the offense. So they've done a nice job staying in phase and making plays.
Eberle with 43 seconds to go throws behind Roncoroni. Voorhees in the same district as North Hunterdon, the alma mater of Bob Engstadt. And the Lions will take on the Stateliners of Phillipsburg in our next game, approximate 1 p.m. kickoff. North 2 Group 4 championship. 42 seconds to go, 4th down and ball game. Eberle stands in, completes. Ron Corroding gets hit down by Dignazio right at the sticks. Favorable spot. 1st down for Voorhees.
Nice looking play out the pistol, and Eberle's showing his ability to just sit back there and deliver an accurate ball. That offensive line really stepping up here late.
Eberle with plenty of time. Eyes the end zone. Jump ball down the field, plucked away. Jack McCabe. Touchdown, Vikings.
And another ball thrown into double coverage. This time McCabe saves his quarterback, makes a play over the top of 2 defenders. He's had himself a heck of a game. You don't see him celebrating or dancing or doing anything silly on the field because he knows what the scoreboard says. But it's certainly played to the very, very end of this football game. And he's certainly a young man that I'll continue to watch.
George Eberle on to kick the PAT. Win, lose, or draw, Jack McCabe just scored a touchdown at MetLife Stadium. Extra point is good for Eberle. West Essex doubling up Voorhees, 28-14.
And it's nice to see these guys make a play towards the end of this ball game. Struggled throughout offensively. You know, they've made some things happen, but haven't really been able to get into the end zone at the level of consistency that they would have needed to pull out this game. But certainly a valiant effort in which they fought until the end.
7 plays, 61 yards. McCabe at the end with the touchdown reception, his 3rd of the season.
McCabe, a senior, will be moving on to the next level. Interested to see if he'll continue to play this game and to track his future because he's a heck of a young player.
3-year starter on defense, 2-year starter at receiver. An all-around contributor for Voorhees, in which the Vikings will miss moving forward. West Essex anticipating an onside kick. It is banged right into the line, and good hands, and the recovery. Bucket bath for Chris Benaquista. Still 19 seconds to go. Have to knee it out. But finally, a smile for the head coach.
I was about to say there's some time left on the clock, and you know, they start their celebration a little bit prematurely.
3 years as a varsity player back in 90, 91, and 92. An assistant for 10 years where he won 5 championships. His 2nd as a head coach. It's chilly, but that is a welcomed shower.
And the ice bath in the fall never felt so good.
Zack Lemansky returned to the starting lineup, and what a job he did. 4 touchdown tosses and a North 2 Group 3 championship. Final 10 seconds winding off the clock.
And it didn't even mess up his hair.
Victory secured. West Essex in 2017 sectional champs. For the 9th time in school history, the Knights are kings. Chris Benaquista's team celebrates first with the fan base, and ever the sportsman making sure that his squad comes over and wishes Voorhees well after a hard-fought North 2 Group 3 final.
Benaquista and his staff had a great game plan coming into this game, and they stuck to it throughout. Started off with some big plays down the field that you didn't necessarily see coming. I mean, it's the wing T offense, but it's big play oriented. They've got 2, 3, 4 guys that can go out and make plays in which they put in position to do so outside the element of the wing T. So they're able to really open things up. They kept this defense off balance. Their defense played well enough to come out with the win. I thought that third level of the defense covered well down the field. Defensive line, linebackers also got in on the act, strung out a bunch of plays. But I'll tell you, this is the complete victory for that team, for that program. They certainly deserve to win, and I'm interested to see what they'll do moving forward.
Voorhees on the rise. West Essex stamps itself as back. 4 previous seasons ending in the semifinals. Chris Benaquista so excited that his team finally got over the hump. But he said, our goal is to win it. And they did so today. 28-14, the victory over the Vikings. The top seed finishing the year 11-1. Voorhees falls to 9-3. But for the Knights, such a proud program, a coaching staff made up of all alums. 3 coaches for the Knights in about the last 3 decades. And the excellence continues for West Essex as they await the presentation of the sectional trophy.
And there's just no feeling like what these young men are experiencing out there, shoulder to shoulder, brother to brother, and just a terrific game plan and execution.
Will Perez affecting the game in 3 phases. He got it started with the long touchdown reception in the first quarter, and he is standing by with Amanda Puglisi.
Thanks, David. For the first time since 2011, you guys can say West Essex, you guys are champs. As soon as the clock hit 0, you jumped into that student section. How did that feel?
This is the best feeling ever. I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and it's just me and my brothers out there, and we're like a family here. That's what makes it that much more special. We're a band of brothers, and we all fight for each other.
You and Lemansky connected twice today, and that's something you guys have been doing for quite some time.
Yeah, me and Lemansky grew up as kids together. He's my best friend. We hang out all the time. Every off-season, always putting in work on the turf. Rain or shine, doesn't matter. And it just shows, it pays off.
And he's not the only one. I mean, you guys are a young team of juniors, so certainly you guys have been playing together for a long time.
Yeah, me, Phil, and Zach, we've been on a team since, I don't even know, 2nd grade. And Luke, Ignacio, Kuzo, these are all new guys that are big contributors in huge ways. And I just can't wait to get ready for next year.
All right, we'll see you next year. Well, congratulations.
Hopefully. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, back to you.
202 total yards for the 4th time rushing. Will Perez over 100 yards. It's a victory huddle for West Essex. 28-14. It was really Knights from the get-go.
Perez was dynamic. Lemansky was dynamic. Lutz played a solid game. They had a lot of guys step up, take ownership for this football game, for this team. And they were able to come out with the win.
So 28-14, the final coming up next. We turn our focus to North 2 Group 4, the top 2 seeds playing for the section championship. North Hunterdon and Phillipsburg, the number 21 team in our tri-state. Once again, it is coming up next here from MetLife. North 2 Group 4 championship, our second of 4 games today from the Meadowlands. West Essex, a proud program, entering today with 8 section championships. Voorhees, the 3 seed. What a remarkable season they had to reach this point. An exciting finish in the semifinals to reach their first championship game in 20 years. Zack Lemansky makes his return to the lineup for the Knights, and what a difference the junior quarterback made. 4 touchdown passes thrown, and the Knights go wire to wire. 28-14 for the 9th time in school history. West Essex takes home a section championship. For Todrick Hunt, Amanda Puglisi, and our entire crew, I'm David Resnick. Thanks so much for joining us from MetLife. West Essex takes it 28-14.